Welcome to today's webinar on SAP BTP. We're thrilled to have all of you here as we delve into this transformative technology that holds immense potential for businesses worldwide. Now, before we introduce our esteemed speakers, let's cover some housekeeping details. This webinar will be recorded, and you will receive a copy of this recording afterwards. If you encounter any issues or concern, please feel free to disconnect. We will allocate some time for a Q&A session at the end, so kindly submit your questions in the designated Q&A section, and one of our expert speakers will address them. Your active participation will enrich the discussion and ensure that we all gain actionable insights. Today, we are privileged to have notable experts in the field of SAP BTP who will share their invaluable expertise and insights. Allow me to introduce our esteemed presenters. Mr. Raghu Reddy, who has an extensive experience as the head of global enterprise applications at Oregon Tools, has been the driving force behind integration initiatives and business strategies for the organization. His expertise extends to various domains, including innovation, business process optimization, and global IT management. Raghu's deep expertise allows him to provide valuable insights into effective integration strategies, making him a sought-after expert in the field. We are privileged to have Raghu Reddy share his wealth and knowledge with us today. Our second speaker, Mr. Anirudh Reddy, the CTO of S2 Integrators, is renowned for his thought leadership and technological acumen. Anirudh is at the forefront of driving innovative solutions within the company. His expertise surpasses the boundaries of SAP as he embraces a technology-agnostic approach that encompasses diverse ERP systems. We are privileged to have Anirudh Reddy, a visionary in the field of integration, share his expertise and thought-provoking perspectives with us today. Thank you, Anirudh. Thank you, Raghu. And finally, our last speaker for the day, Ms. Shweta Eluru, a distinguished professional with over 15 years of experience in the world of SAP. As the program director at S2, Shweta possesses an intimate understanding of project delivery intricacies and a profound grasp of the challenges that can arise. Her strategic acumen, paired with her exceptional leadership skills, has been instrumental in shaping successful projects and guiding teams towards achievement. Now, with a wealth of experience and a strategic mindset, Shweta is a pivotal asset in driving forward initiatives that yield substantial results. So without further ado, let us embark on this enlightening journey into the world of SAP BTP as we learn from our distinguished speakers and explore the strategies and opportunities that lie ahead. Thank you once again for joining us, and let's get started. So before we move on into the content of our webinar, just to set the stage, the webinar will kick off with an introduction, setting the stage for discussions ahead and on various aspects of integration, shedding light on SAP BTP. We will then discover how BTP empowers organizations to streamline their processes and achieve business objectives efficiently. We will then explore the key features of SAP Integration Suite, which plays a pivotal role in connecting diverse applications and systems. We will post that dive into a real-world example with Oregon Tool as a case study and discuss how the integration initiatives and a strategic business approach led by Mr. Raghu Reddy and Anirudh Reddy resulted in a notable success for Oregon Tool and S2. Post that, we will experience the synergy between SAP BTP and Salesforce through a live integration demonstration. And then we will get acquainted with S2 integrators through an overview of their services and offerings. As mentioned, at the end of the session, we will engage in an interactive Q&A session where attendees can pose questions and one of our experts will take them up. So without any delay, I would like to now hand over to our first speaker, Mr. Anirudh Reddy. Over to you, Mr. Anirudh.
Yes, Ishta. Good afternoon all, morning, evening. So, we'll start off with the BTP platform and, understand what it means to be a platform. Myself and, a couple of our colleagues here will be guiding you through the webinar and, some of the demos as well. So we like to showcase, what is a platform or, an SAP's approach to platform as a service, and with the product BTP, which is business technology platform, right? So with these capabilities, right, Aragon tool, we were able to transform that into more of an intelligent enterprise through integration, extension, and value creation from ready to use APIs and roll out with extended connectors that are already available with integration suite and other tools that we are using here, right? On the get-go, we see that BTP is a multi-cloud approach, right? We have Microsoft Azure, GCP, Alibaba, SAP, of course, has its own neo cloud. So that itself, gives a really good alignment with existing vendor management, existing alignment with other CSPs, cloud service providers, right? Now, I'll focus more on platform, right? What does a platform mean? It can mean anything, right? As a general word, not more of a jargon, right? It's not a technical jargon. So, from a SAP's point of view, it can mean an app dev, or it can mean tools available for integration, or it can be any SaaS product which is more or so sustained to a single operation. But this BTP is more of an amalgamation of multiple services, as you can see at the bottom, which will not only solve business problem, but also give you solutions in a technology front on how integrated this is. Right. Moving on, we'll see how BTP does it with an extended version of these particular set of solutions. Right. Now, the solutions that you see here, capabilities are not just these, right? So at a whole, I think maybe if you go to the BTP capabilities right now, they are close to 90, 92. Uh, Multiple of those are in progress to be onboarded. We'll be able to show you the most common ones and some of the ones that we are certified and we have expertise in. Not to mention, these are the ones that are highlighted here. You'll see digital experience overhaul, low code implementation, API-led integration, and even data integration and analytics that in this particular demo. And all the others are also available. We'll be showcasing them in the future roadmap calls. Right? Now we'll see how BTP is helping out other organizations. Not just Oregon Tool. This particular metrics, or the numbers that you see on the presentation, are given by IDC. It's International Data Corporation. They have been in business for almost 3 to 4 decades now. Certifying organizations on their solutions. Making sure whatever they market is something that is reality, right? And the on the first number itself, you'll see a huge 495% increase. The count of number of organizations that participated in this is about 60 mid to large corporations, and the duration was about 3 month period. So if you see the amount of completion, the faster completion of projects, or the ROI, the payback, or even the 63% in uh, error reduction, that is a dream from any data quality perspective, or even in terms of the man hours, right? Resource constraint is always a issue, at any point of time, right? So these are some of the things. We'll be sending out the document as part of the um, response, or sorry, follow up to our webinar. Right now, one of the things that BTP started on with is something called as integration suite, right? So uh, at the starting BTP, when everything was pulled together, integration suite was one of the main or free services that are provided. Now, there are multiple pay-as-you-go versions of it. There are partner versions of it as well. The reason I'm showcasing more of this is because integration suite has been a crown jewel for BTP, and majority of the organizations that we have been serving, or any others, have started their BTP journey with integration suite, right? Not just because it's easy to use, or cheaper, maybe readily available resources, all of the above, right? Having a tool that is pushed by SAP and used internally by SAP, right? Integration suite has been recently put out by SAP as an integration as a service offering, but before that it has been in the lineage of HANA Cloud, Ariba, Concur, Fieldglass, many of our, so it's tried and tested, ready to be consumed right now. This is something that even Gartner is also looking, right? This is the Magic Quadrant, and as you can see, SAP is as part of the leader and visionary, and couple of drawbacks were more about marketing and not really on the service tooling, right? So this is not just 2023, right? I mean, this particular one is 2023, but this standing has been there since 2020, right? Since the beginning of Integration Suite and the offering as CPI or any other name called CI, right? The latest one is Cloud Integration, SAP Cloud Integration. Now we will see why integration is even needed on an organizational front, right? Going to this particular challenge of integration. When you look at an organization, it's not just one particular application, tool, platform, system, or landscape that exists, right? There are multiple fronts where all of these needs to be integrated, and there is always one or the other with, you can go with tried and tested tools as well, but there will be some aspects where, if something is covering the entirety of data on-prem, but, there is a mistake or, there is drawback or a gap in connecting to cloud interfaces, right? Or it can be the vice versa as well, right? Making sure those methodologies and technologies are always up to date, and always the upgrades are being taken care of on a daily basis, or whenever they come up, is always a challenge, right? So keeping up the pace on all the organizations is always something that we have to deal with, right? The complexity of setting up these environments, integration strategies is always a challenge for maybe a medium or even a large enterprise, right? So with Integration Suite, on BTP, these challenges will be converted into opportunities, right? As you can see, the numbers, again, this is given by Gartner, as part of their vision to, how these tools are being certified. And you can see, it go 87% in terms of operational efficiency. It's almost 2 times more than expected. Similar to, if you can see on the business decisions improvement, right? How sooner you can conclude. Obviously, right? If you have data readily available on your fingertips, you can make the decisions much more faster. That is what is clearly shown. Similarly, on the customer experience, right? So availability of data in multiple places, making sure the information is being sent proactively rather than you need to log on to a system and then look at the data. Readily available data is always a great experience, right? Decreases the man hours, decreases the time to market. Now, this is what the promises are. This is what what it does. We'll see how it does it, right? Now, coming to the integration suite, as I said, right? So cloud integration, it gets, I mean, on the starting, right? If you once you log on and once you have the license and everything ready, you'll be like bombarded with close to 3,000 different integrations, all free, right? And close to 250 connectors, 350 plus business events. All of them are available for you to get around running. The business events that I mentioned are all real-time processing. They have regarding event mesh, or even the data mesh, or even data sphere. All of those are real-time processing of pre-built events that are readily available, right? Coming to the different landscapes and ecosystems, right? So as I mentioned, BTP and integration suite is available on Azure, GCP, AWS, Alibaba Cloud, even SAP Neo environments. And the connectivity to on-prem systems on ECC, or S/4HANA is through a system called a Cloud Connector, which it's goes beyond just networking, or goes beyond just basis work. It's not adding more onto their plate, but making sure the connection from cloud to on-prem is done in a proper way, rather than opening up the networks and hoping for the best, right? So there is always that middle layer that blocks, or that maintains these connections, making sure an SSL tunnel is always maintained, right? So that comes into picture. Streamlining, so this is what third-party integrations. Integration Suite has an open connect, open multiple open connectors that are already available. You can use those. Coming to the solution advisory methodology, this is more of a approach that SAP follows, and we are also certified in, is taking a particular organization from a step where we don't know what they have, like maybe they are just doing TIPCO, or maybe they're just doing a simple IDOC, right? Or maybe an extensive EDI mechanism. Now taking all of that information and moving it onto cloud, or moving it onto next generation integration platform is supposed to be done in a systematic approach, and that already exists, and organizations can take benefit out of. Now, I can't, I mean, even the previous slide you saw about the digital experiences, how much of an improvement that was. And, we always know that SAP has this slight drawback in terms of, experience being a better one. So with Integration Suite, and also the BTP SDKs for iOS and Android, right? Those are like a bullseye, right? So once applications start using these SDKs, the architecture of applications is always more of a siloed one, right? So integrating these siloed architectures into a dynamically changing or a low-code platform makes it breeze in making changes on the fly, right? So as you can see, the low-code power, I mean, it's been there for a while. Low-code, you can see this in multiple ways, making sure the business users who actually face the problems can implement the solutions themselves, right? It's no longer code. It's no longer, making changes to a large code base. It's just configuration. Moving on to B2B, B2B integrations, we'll show this in our demo right now, and going to the trust and security on cloud native environment, right? I touched upon this point prior, about how Cloud Connector and the various open connectors that are available on BTP helps maintain this with trust and security, and make sure newer versions, like even in our demo, we'll show you, like we are using JWT to maintain this session, right? So all of which are, some of which are even in beta phases, right? So with that said, as we are doing this demo with the integration of third-party integrations, like non-SAP applications with Salesforce, I'd like to go to our case study, right, which is with Oregon tool, and I'll ask maybe Raghu if you can talk more about the business context on how we were introduced, and maybe a bit brief about Oregon as to what it does.
Sure, Anirudh. Thank you for inviting. So basically, ours is a global company. We had around $1 billion sales last year, and we are in like 14 countries and 14 plants. We serve almost ship the products to 25 countries, and we have a wide range of like around 250 products within the company. And SAP footprint of around 5,000 users. So basically, for our sales people, we had integration issues. I mean, primarily like we had to integrate multiple organizations into Salesforce, and we have a global one single instance of SAP. So we had challenges to send the data to multiple organizations within Salesforce, and we used to sync the data manually, and our team used to spend like almost hours and hours. I mean, if you calculate per year, we had to spend like 250 to 300K, around 300K, like to insert the data manually in between two systems. So that's where we were checking for an integrated product in between ECC and Salesforce. And we took a demo from multiple companies, and one of the company, which is S2 integrators, came up with a solution and provided like a short delivery time. So that's where we decided we'll go with S2 integrators. So.
Thank you, Raghu. That was brief. If you can talk more about maybe how we did, right? So, how what is the experience working with us?
Yep. So basically, I mean, total 10 weeks was the delivery time, and we got the product within on time. And overall, like we are using the product for almost 9 months. We rolled out to North America, and we almost saved like $500,000 in savings of all the manual work and all the sales teams process and all this stuff. So it's great working with your team, and we are planning to roll out to multiple countries following year. Around 12, we have 12 units other than US. So we are planning to roll out to other countries too. So it's great working with your team.
Great. Thanks for that stamp of confidence and trust, Raghu. So with that said, I'll maybe pause for a poll just to understand if folks are interested in knowing more about integration suite or even BTP. With that, if you can start the poll, please. Maybe we get to share some results. Great. It's a pretty good adoption that we see. If everyone is able to see the poll right now, you can see that close to 53% of the people, of the attendees, are marking yes for usage of BTP. So that's good. It is. So we have 3 different landscapes. One is Salesforce. I'm logging into our demo account on a demo organization on Salesforce. We also have SAP BTP, which is our demo account on BTP as well. And we will also go to our ECC SAP environment. Now we need to clearly show you how each of these are interacting with each other. Right? This is our BTP environment. We'll go through integration suite is our tool of choice here for this integration. Now, one of these instances is this. We'll be showing you which environment that we are picking. In a production scenario or even in a client scenario, there will be multiple environments, right? So based on that, we will use whichever is needed. Quickly show you the artifacts that are in place. The integration, the integrations that are running in the background. One is regarding the first case study, and the second one is more on how individuals are able to use that, right? So yeah, this is the Salesforce environment. As you can see, there are close to 34 accounts here. As is a demo account, you can understand the number of accounts here and also about the data. These are the different artifacts that are in use as part of that are running the ship, or behind the scenes. There are scheduled jobs, there are manually triggering jobs. So we will be running a couple of roles here and making sure our integration works end to end, right? Coming to the business scenario, right? So why are we doing this, right? So as Raghu mentioned, right? So the complexity is connecting both sales and the distribution in the same page, right? Making sure these both business processes are tied together from a integration standpoint. And now what we'll do is making sure that, let's say a customer is created on SAP, right? And we'll go to SD1 to create a quick customer, and we'll make sure this particular information, the sales organization and distribution channel are needed because this information will be shared into Salesforce as well as for organizations that are large making sure this divisions are applied is needed. Particularly for an organization like Oregon, this was absolutely necessary. Maybe a choice can be, let's say, just placing it as John Doe as a company. Let's say he lives in Atlanta, or the company is from Atlanta. We'll go with country as the US. Let's try to save it. I think we'll be faced with some more questions, some more information that is needed. Okay, sales district. We can add all of this with the proper information, so that otherwise, these are all checks and balances that are in place to make sure that the information that is needed is always available, right? So we'll go with price group, and we'll maybe finish it up with the tax, right? So perfect. Now, as you can see at the bottom left, you'll see that the 43 was created, and let's try to manually run this job right now, even though it's a scheduled job on the customer front. We are just running this manually for your sake, right? To make sure the information is real time, and information is readily available. So behind the scenes, I've already triggered the job. We'll be able to see how that information is going on. Okay, perfect. This particular one took close to 13 seconds, and we were able to see the entire flow. And let's go to Salesforce, right, and see if that account showed up or not. John, where's John? Okay, it's loading up. There you go, John's here. And just making sure we have 36 now. That's good. If you look at John, I just want to make sure even his last name came in, maybe his details, some of the details too. Just making sure if the SAP ID came in. Yeah, there you go. 43 is the ID that was just created, and the same came in. If you look at the John and also his last name Doe that came in. Now, these are all the other information that we gave. Particularly this one is essentially needed for successful integration between SAP and Salesforce, and also to make sure individual sales team have a clear definition on what territories have been assigned to them and what is being allocated in SAP. So this is more of a key metric, key data point that is needed to be available on Salesforce. Right, that's one. Now let's see, anyway, right? So SAP is the system of record, right? So at that point, let's say from a Salesforce standpoint, a salespeople regularly go to different customers, and at that point they'll convert these customers from opportunities to leads and then to accounts, right? So let's say we go back to accounts, try to create one from from here, right? So let's say we click on new, and we go to, well, I'll keep it simple, maybe just say demo, and maybe my SAP ID will be populated. We don't want to enter that, and the name maybe Inc. Right? So let's save that, and let's see what's happening behind the scenes. Right? We'll go back to our there you go. Right? This particular one came through. We can even see that this information is now available on. Let's see if it's available on sales SAP, right? So we just went through I already triggered the behind the scenes. Once Salesforce account is created, it automatically makes a call to BTP, and BTP makes a call to SAP via BAPIs, and we are able to see that information here. 43 was the one that we created previously. Let's go to 44. Right? How about it? There you go. S2 demo with ink. I know we didn't send master information, but this is most of it, right? So that was more on the demo. We'll shift to what we learned, right? So we understand more about the critical processes that are running. Now let's try to wrap this up with some key takeaways, right? How did it help? Whom did it help, and what are the different things that actually played a part here, right? So let's go to key takeaways, right? So the foremost, syncing with B2B partners, right? So connectivity between Salesforce and SAP was trivial. As you heard from Raghu, they were facing close to 250,000 of extra man hours, and not to mention the data quality issue, human errors and all of that, right? Flat fingering and all of those. So this is to make sure the business processes are efficient, right? So that is one. We also made sure the compliance is in a very streamlined way, and made sure that the standards and practices are maintained. We have used the cloud connector to connect to SAP ECC, making sure we are good with SAP. From a Salesforce standpoint, we used the bulk API 2.0, bulk 2.0 APIs, which are again yes, from Salesforce as well. So we'll coming to the business processes that are connected, right? You can understand the difficulties, right? So salespeople are siloed in Salesforce. They're only seeing the information on Salesforce, and the distribution team is only siloed on SAP, right? At that point, connecting these two are trivial to not only creating sales but also to service, right? To make sure that the same information is always available on both sides. And let's say a shipping address is changed on the SAP side because of the distribution changes, and that information should be readily available on Salesforce. Otherwise, the salespeople who are on the territory, at the customer, will be clueless, right? So there is a clear, we have achieved not only connecting these business processes for critical needs. We have also made sure digital experiences are done in a right way. Right. Moving to one of the how integration suite or BTP is helping this, right? So making sure the both integrations, both the flows are readily available to be picked up, and with some moderations, connections to a Salesforce with the bulk APIs, or APIs connecting to SAP, right? So all of these, most of them are being readily provided either by SAP or by Integration Suite or by Salesforce, right? So now Integration Suite is where we brought all of them together, made sure this goes into a streamlined process, right? So this is how it helped, and coming to the gist of it all, right? Making sure that all the tasks that we did, all the solutions that we followed, all the recommendations that we took from either from SAP or Salesforce, is more about making sure we are in the right way, right? So as you can see from the webinar title as well, right? So how to future-proof your integrations, right? So we believe, and SAP believes, Gartner also believes that SAP integration suite is a way to go, right? And me as a technologist, and having been through my fair share of implementations where we had to clear out a lot of technology debt because there was one small decision that was taken in a wrong way, or a really good way, right? So we would like to be part of that journey, and to make sure that we are, I'll hand it over to Sweta to ask that question of can you? Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Anirudh. I was just making sure that I'm not speaking on mute.
Yeah.
That was a very detailed and insightful session. There's a reason why you are our technology leader at S2. But thank you for giving entire picture of where BTP comes from and how it is being done, and also to Raghu to share their challenges that they had before having this process implemented or being adapted into their organization. That was a very detailed one. Again, thank you both. So folks, I think it was too much of information, too much of technical jargon, too much of buzzwords being thrown at you. It's a lot to take in. It was the same for me before, but this is one of those sessions where I could understand and connect the dots together. Especially the demo really helped Anirudh for us to see how the process flow is and workflow is integrating very well. So till now, what we have seen is what is BTP and why BTP, and at what place or when the BTP is utilized for integration. We also saw a demo and also various takeaways from BTP in integrating Salesforce and SAP. Now we will spend some time on the insights of how to achieve what Raghu and his team at Organ Tools were able to with the help of it. And how we are going to do it, we'll cover it in the next slide. So with all the experience that we had working not only from SAP background, not only from technical insight, not only from experiencing in transformation, both digital and also in implementation, this is the Salesforce connector that we came up with. As you can see, it has we have listed very high-level verticals. What would be the scope using these connectors? What would the business value that we'll get, and how are we approaching it? Scope-wise, you can see it is like out-of-box integration. It's a seamless one. We'll explain it in next few minutes why we call it as seamless. There are two key scenarios that is being available through this connector. One is like, you convert the opportunity like in Salesforce and you transition it to a customer in SAP and sync back to Salesforce. And also SAP customers to Salesforce account for data sync. What are you going to get after these two scenarios are implemented? One, sales team will get instant access to 100% accurate prices and configurations, which was a challenge for any customer service team or a sales team to keep track of where exactly the information is coming from, how the updates are being done, and the delay that happens. The second, the customer service teams can quickly resolve like inbound customer inquiries within no time because using this connector, the connection between Salesforce and SAP is live. There won't be any delay the way we usually saw it in before scenario. And the third, very crucial one, I know business should be as usual, but when you're maintaining these systems across, the IT departments benefit from up to 80% shorter implementation timelines with scalable and purpose-built SAP connections. So we all know that business is being evolving and organizations are embarking into different sectors of business capabilities. It's not only one solution or one ERP system that organization is dependent on anymore to do their business as usual. They not only with ERP system, they have boundary systems to make sure and to spread and utilize the globalization and also connectivity to across geological locations or also across multiple solutions available in the market. With this connector being in place, accelerating the time to value takes up to like 80 to 90% less time to implement than any traditional approaches that are out in the market. And the approach or the channel challenges that we have seen so far is whenever you connect, it can be any ERP system. It can be SAP or non-SAP systems. When you try to connect any boundary systems to the ERP system, there's always a challenge. And as Raghu mentioned also before, that a lot of manpower and time and energy and cost was associated just because we are trying to input data manually. And also then we progressed into a batch processing or like, timely running those jobs. Even then it's not seamless. So to have the live connection for the sales and customer service teams to get the accurate data live from and to and from both Salesforce and SAP is a big winner. And how we came up with this connector, which is a 50K offering, and the seamless implementation or deployment within 5 to 6 weeks is considered to be a no-brainer, I believe, because many customers, many businesses love this, as Raghu said, across multiple bits coming through. The reason why we're selected is because of the duration of the weeks that we proposed, and we proved it, right? So we will showcase why we are so confident and where this confidence and experience through which we develop this connector. So you go to the next slide. So this shows our unique positioning that we have in SAP on an average of 20 plus years of experience across the organization, BTP expertise, BTP certified personnel, not only BTP, right? Even before BTP came into picture, the kind of integration and the technical knowledge we bring to the table. And having that adaptability and keeping ourselves up to scale to whatever the new technologies are coming through, especially how well SAP can be working within and also with external boundary systems. That's where we upskilled all of our expertise to BTP knowledgeable and also certified as well. And these capabilities and global delivery footprint also, because we work with so many industries vertically, be it retail, be it automobile, be it purchases, be it sales, be it medical and pharma, right? and also working with multiple geological locations where those challenges, that information and knowledge was also being evolved or put into to have that connector out. So I know we have released a lot of information and thrown a lot of buzzwords out at you. But if you're looking at BTP and why we need integration, I think you have a solution. And if you decide that you would need a better integrator or integration platform or a connector, you know where to find us. Back to you, Anirudh.
Thank you, Zvita. That was good. And before going to question and answers, I would like to, pose a question myself, right? So with the technology, right? SAP is ready with the technology, which is integration suite, is ready with the platform, with BTP, VS2 are ready with our global presence and, the unique positioning with SAP, the gold partnership, and all the, number of resources that are available over the clock, right? I would like to pose a question or, implore the business decision makers or, others who are, helping them make that decision. How about you? Thank you. Over to you, Nisa.
Okay, so I think that's the end of our webinar and the content from our end. We are open for any questions if anybody has any. So everybody is requested to put down their questions in the Q&A section down. I see one question in the Q&A section. Anirudh, would you like to take that up?
Sure. I see the question is, what are the security measures that are in place within SAP BTP to ensure the safety of data and sensitive information during integration? Now, this is as we are connecting from SAP to BTP and then from BTP to Salesforce and all the way vice versa, right? So we have multiple sections where security plays a big part. For the connection between SAP and the BTP, there is Cloud Connector. With Cloud Connector, there is a two-way SSL tunnel that is established between BTP and the SAP Cloud Connector. Cloud Connector again, lies within the same data center or server as your ERP. It can be an allocated one, but at least in the same network under the same VPN, right? So all of this particular connection is well established by the SSL tunnel that is created. Coming to the other side, the other side of the house, which is BTP to Salesforce. This is done through again a two-way SSL key mechanism. We have further enhanced it with JWT tokens, right? So Salesforce, has a beta program. We have just went ahead, full ahead with the JWT token implementation, and this is end-to-end certified solution from Salesforce as well. Hope that answered. I see another question. Is this solution meant for S/4HANA and meant for only customer master integration or even for transactions like from SFDC opportunity to SAP sales order, right? No, so this particular integration is just one feature which can be easily understood and easily made sure it is available for all the webinar attendees to be able to understand, right? So coming to this particular integration, it can be used or it can be shifted for any type of third-party integration, not only for Salesforce, not only for SAP. Integration as a service, as a platform, BTP. If you have looked at the recent earnings from S2, right? Sorry, from SAP, you can see how BTP is being poised as maybe the number one breadwinner for SAP. That might be the future holder, right? So this is where even we from S2 would like to go through, piggyback on the same ride, making sure this particular integration can be done with third-party services as well, and it can absolutely be done by S/4HANA and a lot more. Going to okay, so I see. Maybe I can answer one more, which is finance in the vertical supported. SAP BTP offers SOX control capability, compatibility for finance domain. I believe it does. We can definitely talk more. We have our sales team member also here. Steve, feel free to reach out to our sales team as well at sales at s2integrators.com. They'll be able to certainly answer more about the different offerings that we have that are readily available on S2 for BTP approach, right?
One thing I add, Anirudh, there. Thanks, Anirudh. So it supports SOX control, especially the finance. One thing we are very strong in finance and procurement transformation. It supports all the SOX controls basically, like pretty wide varieties, and we can talk through detail. Like Anirudh mentioned, we can go through some more specific details. You can feel free to reach out us for any questions here.
That's very interesting. I think I see one more. Do we need to buy API or additional license from SAP? So it's a typical licensing from SAP for BTP. You need to get a license for integration suite. It's a pay-as-you-go model based on credits. As Raghu mentioned, this was more. It's been live, and they have been onboarding more members onto their platform. The numbers that we are talking about is pretty nominal when compared to the resources, compared to the amount of team members. You need to maintain this type of integration, and with no hassle. I think it's a no-brainer. From a API standpoint, everything is available out of the box from either integration suite or Salesforce or whichever third party. I think APIs are the norm right now for any type of third party integrations. If you want to add anything more on to the licensing part, Srini.
They came with a very simple model now. More and more pay as you go and couple of services available. One of the common thing which a lot of BTP customer brought is it looks expensive, but we had pretty good comparisons with all other integration tool. It's more like a pay as you go and a couple of services now, trimmed down version available. We love to have that detailed conversation. Please feel free to reach out to us. We are happy to share some more insights. How do we optimize your licensing as well?
We are good to close here. Dr. Nishta.
Thank you, Anirudh. Thank you, Shweta. Thank you, Srini. As we conclude this enriching webinar, we extend our sincere appreciation to all our distinguished speakers who have shared their valuable insights with us. In closing, we extend our heartfelt gratitude to Mr. Raghu Reddy for his invaluable participation in this insightful webinar. His expertise and profound insights into integration strategies, along with excellent feedback he provided about S2 integrators, have been truly enlightening. Mr. Reddy's contributions have added immense value to our discussion, and we look forward to continued collaboration and learning from his vast experience. Thank you, Mr. Raghu Reddy, for being an integral part of this webinar and sharing your expertise with us. Thank you, everyone, for joining today for our webinar. Have a great rest of your day.